This is Leadership or Leadershit, written by Dave Evans, the speed read, narrated by me, Dave Evans, helping you build your leadership operating system, building real leadership today.
Leadership 2.0, just a tip to help you get started. As you listen, think about the power tools that will be introduced shortly. These are practical steps you can start using straight away. Our focus here is to help you work on your self-leadership and specifically on the 15% gap we often don't see in ourselves. This gap is where leadership can slip, but also where growth happens. The tools, ideas, and options coming up are designed to help you lead better, one step at a time. The key concept I want you to keep in mind is that the faces of leadership, the contrasts you'll hear about, they coexist together. They aren't black and white. Each one of them has the potential to be part of great leadership, but under the wrong conditions, they can slip into what we call leadershit. This means that the difference between success and failure in leadership often comes down to small, mindful choices. As you listen to each face of leadership, I encourage you to stop and reflect. Pause the recording and think, how does this apply to me? What action can I take today to improve just a little bit? Here's a quick, high-level view of the 8 faces you're going to be hearing about. Fake versus authentic. New traits feel fake at first, but over time, they become part of your authentic self. Saying you are something and then not being it is also fakeness in play. Selfish versus selfless. Self-care is key. You can't lead others without taking care of yourself first. Motivation versus mindset. Motivation is great, but a strong mindset will sustain your personal growth. Connected versus cut off. Open, clear communication fosters connection. Silence leaves room for confusion and fear. Inspired versus expired. Leaders who inspire drive action. Without inspiration, leadership becomes stagnant. Meaningful versus meaningless. Help your team find meaning in their work. This keeps them engaged and driven. Revolution versus evolution. Sometimes steady progress is enough, but be ready for bold changes when necessary. Reality versus illusion. Stay grounded in truth. Leadership is about results, not just titles or appearances. Use this as a guide and take one face at a time. Enjoy the chapters coming up and ask yourself one more time, what action can I take from this learning? Leadership 2.0 Power Tools. There are 3 things that will make a difference with Leadership 2.0 straight away. Straight talking, values, and feedback. These power tools are designed to give you an impact in your leadership from the beginning. Straight talking. Be someone your people can turn to and understand. What have you asked them to do, learn, act, or develop? Spend time removing ambiguity and take away the act of guessing. Values. Become someone who is values-led. Walk the talk and show behavior that follows the stance you tell your people about. Have you ever heard of this quote? I cannot hear you because your actions are speaking so loudly. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Feedback. Get good at receiving as much feedback as you choose to give. Use skill and not instinct. Invest in and value your people. Too many principles, ideas, and thoughts around leadership are out of date. In fact, they're not leadership at all anymore. They're frankly leadershit. New generations are asking different questions, demanding new ways of thinking. They will not be stuck with leadership in 2024. The days of leadership are over. Leadership 2.0 is real leadership, and together we've explored knowledge and examples throughout this speed read to help you challenge your thinking alongside tools and techniques to go deeper with a change so that you can apply it straight away and become better both today and tomorrow. Authentic or fake? In this chapter, the big question we're asking is your leadership authentic or fake? We all see that facing into the truth and the reality of our situations, no matter how hard that is the quickest way to find a solution. Using the technique of notice, experience and acknowledge, we see and unlearn some of our realities by playing back our experiences and looking for the ways we can improve them. And when we acknowledge where the gaps are, we get closer to unlocking our growth, our own potential, and we start the change or improvement process at the same time. Through being aware of our personal potential equals peak performance minus interference, we can decide what our own personal potential is. For some of us, this is easier than others. Start with action. Do things that allow you to find out what your potential is by testing things out, learning about things and becoming better, even if it is simply ruling some things out and some things in. Peak performance is possible when we are clearer as to what our own potential is. The key is to remove any interference we are experiencing in the process. Remember, interference takes lots of different forms. It can be a voice in our head that is either positive or negative. It can be a person we know, someone we love. It can even be people we work with who perhaps we do not particularly like. It can be our senses playing against us. It can be things from our allergies playing up, our body being in a form of stress, or smells we don't like. It can be phobias and anxieties and more. Beware of your inner circle's fiercest critics. One of the things that still startles me today is that our biggest critics are often those closest to us. Someone who does love you, even thinks the best for you, yet in a small moment in time, when you've decided to change a small thing, they may in fact be the only person who initially does not like what you've decided to change or improve. They are playing out a version of you in their head and they're comparing you against it. Therefore, when you make a change, think through your commitment and anticipate these moments in advance. You can help them, educate them, share with them how you got to where you are, and ask them to support you along the way. Understanding that new leadership traits will sometimes also seem fake. A new choice will always be fake at first because it's brand new. Let those that you lead know what it is that you're working on and prepare them in the process for success. If you are doing something completely new, a new style, a new skill, let them know in advance. Help them understand what is going on and give them a chance to support you in the process. A key takeaway from authentic versus fake is this. Authentic leadership starts by confronting the reality of your actions, even when it's hard. Use the notice, experience, acknowledge technique from the book to reflect on your behavior and identify areas for improvement. Reduce interference that holds you back, whether it's internal inside your head or external. Leadership may feel uncomfortable or fake at first, but staying committed and transparent is the key. Communicate your changes to those around you to inspire growth in yourself and your team. Leadership 2.0, selfish or selfless. Here we unlearn selfish leadership and see it as an investment towards selflessness. Self-care comes first. Treat your leadership recovery time like the oxygen mask on the aeroplane. Do your own first. Then tend to those around you. Understand this and apply. You cannot give what you do not have. This sometimes feels like a record that's got stuck on the turntable. The needle is bouncing up and down on the exact same point. Either there is a loud scratching noise or it just plays the same words repeatedly over and over again. To lead others, you must lead yourself first. People see what you neglect, then they assess you against it when it comes to being in the spotlight. Worse still, they then form a perspective of you. If you're going to ask someone to take care of themselves, model it yourself first. Be sure to show the way. The best and fastest way to achieve this, though, is through getting feedback and to listen and consider the 4 different perspectives that come back from feedback. When you're leading others, always think through these 4 perspectives that come from the world of NLP. This is called perceptual positioning. Number 1, What is the perspective of someone who agrees with what you're saying? Number 2, what is the perspective of someone who disagrees with what you're saying? Number 3, what is the perspective of someone who is undecided and sitting on the fence? Number 4, what is the perspective of someone who does not care at all? Learning that selflessness and selfishness partner with each other in leadership is when we often find ourselves failing to prepare the most. Perceptual positioning helps us prepare. Preparation is the key to eliminating the need for hindsight. It removes assumption and allows us to lead better. A quick way to be better prepared is to have your own daily best self list. Take the time to form your personal daily routines, the 4 or 5 things that get you off to a great start in the day. Whatever they are, if you have never even thought about this before, think about the things that make you kick into life. They energize you. Things like exercise, great conversations, learning, meditation, nutrition, and more. And bring them into your daily practices and do them every day. Changing this means getting good at being still. Someone once asked me, what is the best way to become better at self-care so that you can be selfish, leadership recovery time, in order to be selfless when you're serving? The answer I gave frustrated them immensely. The first step to recovery is mastering stillness. I said, how good are you at sitting down for 7 minutes and doing absolutely nothing? No thinking, no talking, no sound, no thoughts, no writing, no creativity, absolutely nothing. The first step in true recovery is to master stillness. A key takeaway from selfish or selfless is, to lead others effectively, you must first lead yourself through self-care and taking personal responsibility for it. Self-care is like putting on your own oxygen mask first. You can't put others on if you haven't done yours. Model self-care and self-leadership to your team. As people notice what you neglect and they notice what you don't do and they judge it anyway. Use feedback to gain perspectives from 4 different angles. Take time to prepare and build consistency into your self-care routines and eliminate the need for hindsight and assumption in your leadership. Master the art of stillness. It's essential for recovery and clarity in your leadership. Leadership 2.0, motivation or mindset. I remember reading about great sporting institutions from multiple sporting disciplines taking the time to have positive affirmations written on changing room walls. Our brains wire ourselves into their surroundings. In the program Ted Lasso, one of the things the character Ted himself does early in episode 1 is he places a mantra above the manager's office, the word believe. He places it in the changing rooms of the soccer club. It was a statement about beliefs, designed to inspire the team to think differently. Our brains become wired to how we surround ourselves. What is in your environment that could be better or more useful for you? Personal success motivators, PSMs. What are yours, your team's or your colleagues? Do you know what your own personal motivators are? What are the levels of success you are aspiring for in your own life? Can you imagine the power of finding these out from your teams and your people? Knowing them allows you to support them. Knowing your own allows you to consciously find actions you can take towards the things you wish to see in your life. I am whole, perfect, strong, powerful, loving, strong, harmonious and happy. Charles F. Hannell. It feels only right to share with you the most potent and powerful daily affirmation from Charles F. Hannell, the founder and writer of the Master Key System. An affirmation designed to give you a firm set of beliefs about yourself. Even if you are a skeptic and think the words are a little old or out of date, what harm can be done with words like happy, harmonious, whole, strong and loving? Surely priming your brain with these daily is a great idea. After all, we are what we repeatedly think, the literal sum of our thoughts. Digital influences and interferences. One of the modern day problems is the advanced technologies and medias presented in our lives, built on devices that are designed and programmed to get your attention and influence your brain's chemistry. Beware of the amount of time you give to these things. Tailor your level of interruptions or distractions caused by these fantastic tools. Have your own daily mindset process and routines. The daily success routines you use are intended to help you be at your best more often. Become clearer about what gets the absolute best out of you. Seek out the things that add to your outlook and your perspective, and not those that take away from it. Leadership 2.0. The new look at leadership comes with a preloaded mindset. One that asks you to consider a simple idea that all humans across our planet are entitled to the same human rights. All humans being equal in their dignity. Leadership 2.0 is asking us all to stand up for this and to put down our unconditioned prejudices and move to a place of leadership evolution. A key takeaway from motivational mindset. Surroundings shape our mindset. Our brains wire themselves to match the environment we're in. So it's important to cultivate a positive and inspiring setting. Personal success motivators. These drive your actions. Identify your motivators and those of your team too. Create purposeful goals with meaning and support them effectively. Positive affirmations, like those used by successful teams, help program your mindset for success. Be mindful of digital distractions and the impact they have on your focus and your energy. Establish a daily mindset routine, regular practices that you can use to enhance your focus and maintain motivation, helping you build your leadership and achieve peak performance. Leadership 2.0, connected or cut off. No communication is communication. No communication creates its own noise. This is a perilous product of unintended leadership communication. Leadershit itself. The answer is simple. Communicate. Have a communication process and remove the space for someone to fill in the missing story. Fear grows with time, shared conversations, and rapport. This flows directly from a lack of communication. It is also things like to-do lists, complaints, process requests that are usually collected in team meetings that need escalating and disappear off into the ether, which means there's space or void of nothing. Have you ever done that? Been in a meeting where you've raised loads of things that need fixing and they get taken away and nothing is ever said? Often people will talk about this. They will share rapport, feelings that are born out of frustration, and before you know it, new beliefs or opinions are formed and even stories start. Communicate, fill in the blanks, and report back. Connection helps with mental wellness. Taking time to be a leadership connector creates the space to drive well-being. A wealth manager we know in Colorado once sent a video to his clients during the pandemic asking a really simple question. That question was, are you okay? And are you going to be okay? David Morrison. You may be thinking that this is a simple question, yet how often do you ask your people about this? How often do you take the time to care enough and connect with those that you lead? Asking those two questions, are you okay and are you going to be okay, helps leadership strengthen. Language drives connection. Making the most of our language helps define communication. Remove words and phrases and sayings and idioms that delete or devalue the expression itself, or even the communication being made. Fillers are not needed when the goal is to connect. Use tools and words that create the experience you want to have. Remember, with connected or cut off, the owner of the communication is responsible for the entire result. Dave Evans. The more we do business, the more we coach, the more we communicate, we are reminded that the meaning of the communication that we are delivering is simply the result that we get back. It does not matter how much effort it takes, how many times you make it, the owner of the communication must always own the result of it. Leadership 2.0 owns the result. It is your responsibility. A key takeaway from Connected or Cut Off is no communication is still communication. It creates confusion and it gives space for other people to fill in the gaps. Clear and consistent communication is crucial to leadership. Having a process in place, ensuring important information is conveyed and nothing disappears into the void of nothingness. Connection with your people fosters mental wellness. Get good at asking, are you okay? And are you going to be okay? Ask it with genuine care. Use good language to drive connection and be intentional with your words and avoid fillers that dilute the quality of your message. Above all else, remember this: the owner of the communication is responsible for the result. Take responsibility for ensuring your communication is clear and the process you use delivers the communication's intended outcomes. Leadership 2.0, inspired or expired? A new truth that defines Leadership 2.0 is this: are we creating a space for people to thrive? Because inspiration is the secret ingredient. Inspiration leads to action. When did someone act after something you did? Who in your team is pushing boundaries? Are you looking for ways to go further or achieve more? Who is working on the impossible and making it possible? What would happen if you did? The powerful effect of feelings. There are many other great feelings and words that exist today that are really great feelings, but they are not inspiration. Remember, a nice feeling is a nice feeling. True inspiration initiates action. Think of all the experiences of moments that you've had and think about how many more of those led you to action. Nice feelings such as contentment, joy, happiness, laughter, fun, energy, being driven, achievements, awards, goal attainment, growth, memories, good experiences, a great meal out, a mind-blowing movie, a charity, a TV show, or even an extraordinary story. They're all good feelings. Do they lead you to action? Have a leadership operating system. Your inspirational or expiration-based operational system is in work, in play, regardless of the decisions that you make. It creates an aggregate score, which is either positive or negative. The operating system is like time. It totals up regardless of whether you are driving it or not. The total is one that is positive or negative. And we're asking you to choose a positive, intentional, inspirational one. Hope versus fear. Several times in the book Leadership 2.0, Leadership or Leadership, we lay out the argument that the world is obsessed with fear. The media, the social platforms, sports, governments, politics, and power are all using media and fear to influence the masses. We have lost sight of the simplicity of the world of hope. We're going to ask you to join us in helping us to turn this around. Flip your thinking, to put fear away and to bring back hope. To think about the better things that are possible. To learn from the stories that capture our imagination and to remember it takes a few people, just a small group, working together to do unimaginable things and to push boundaries to believe in something new. Let's create a new dawn for hope. This chapter has plenty of leadership tests. Take them. Eliminate your leadership in your business or in your role. In Leadership 2.0, if inspiration and action become part of your leadership, where could you be? Where could your team get to? Where could your company be in 24 months' time? A key takeaway from Inspired or Expired is this: inspiration is the driving force behind action and progress. True inspiration pushes people to take bold steps, achieve more, and turn the impossible into reality. Reflect on whether your leadership creates an environment where people feel inspired to thrive, push boundaries, and reach out for new heights. Notice feelings like joy, contentment, and energy are great, but they don't always spark the action the way inspiration does. Build your leadership operating system. Make it intentional. Make it inspirational. It's adding up time for you, whether you consciously use it or not. The net effect will always be a positive leadership approach or a net negative as an aggregate. Hope is the antidote to fear. Join us in shifting away from fear-driven leadership and focus on instilling hope. We want you to encourage people in your Leadership 2.0 to believe in all of the possibilities ahead. Leadership 2.0, meaningful or meaningless? That the powerful play goes on, will you contribute a verse? Good Will Hunting, Robin Williams. After 20 years of running leadership workshops as a coach and founder of RLC, one of the things that stands out the most to me is that I constantly meet people who are not the main character in their own movie. The movie is their life, the main character is of course them, because it's their life, and yet someone else or something else has taken its place. Therefore, they can never reach a place of true contentment, purpose, intention, or fulfillment. The first action they need to take is to take back the reins of their own life. This may initially seem ridiculous, yet I've seen people do this with their self-esteem, belief systems, expectations, goals, and more. Meaning is personal. It may take you or your team some time to work out what meaning is to you. Meaning is something that can be added to most things. If you're going on holiday, can you add meaning into the memories you decide to create? Are there things or experiences you could do that could change or transform the holiday into an extraordinary one? If you're looking to establish your own meaning, think about what brings you alive. Are you doing that right now? What steps could you or can you take towards it? Can you test it? Find out. Even meaningless has meaning in it. Did you miss it? The word meaning is living there in the middle of the word. Even in the most repetitive jobs, they still have meaning. There is usually a reason why the jobs were created in the first place or why they're being done. For people who work through jobs that are Monday to Friday or focus solely on their weekends or even short-term events that come along, taking time to find out the meaning from that and applying it to your personal life is the secret. Money making a difference. Support betterment. There are countless studies on the way humans search for meaning. In terms of career, there have been three main reasons understood by psychologists for quite some time. The first meaning people take is about earning money in their life to enable their life. Then, as they earn more, they focus on self-mastery, the need to become better at what they do. And then finally, look at how once they've done those things, how can they make a difference overall in the world and the communities around them. Looking at these inside your organization, inside your team, will help you find out what it is your people want from you and your leadership. Here's a tool to help you with this called the why factor. The why factor of you, your team, and your business. We all start most things with a reason. Something we need, something we want or desire. One of my favorite sections of the RLC business framework is learning about why business owners started a company and what they originally wanted from it. The conversation about how close or far away they are from this is fascinating. The one thing that comes out every time, almost as a complete surprise, is when we ask, what is the why factor of your team? It's followed closely by a blank facial expression. Once we get over a reluctance to accept that this is invaluable information, there is a need to encourage the organization or team to get closer to their people to find out the answer. When a team shares with you their individual reason why, the reason they do their job, the reason they come to your company, the things that they want from it, and they give you clear answers, you can take actions to help them achieve it along the way, in turn, changing lives. A key takeaway from Meaningful or Meaningless: every individual should be the main character in their own life story, reclaiming purpose and fulfillment by taking control of their own decisions and actions. Meaning is deeply personal and can be created in any experience. Even the most repetitive tasks have inherent meaning. Leaders should help their teams understand and find the why behind what they do. Career stages often align with three more motivations: earning money, improving skill, and making a difference. Discover the why factor of your team. Understand why individuals do what they do, and use that knowledge to help them achieve meaning in their goals and in their life. Leadership 2.0, Revolution or Evolution. We can lose the fear of change, the fear of massive disruption, by thinking evolution. Evolution defined. This is a vital insight in modern day leadership. Let's make the word change past tense. This changes the feelings associated with it too, all at once. We suddenly take change from being something that we don't want to do to making it something through evolution that we can celebrate, something that we can be proud of. Often, it's the other way around. We waste time in fear, being consumed by the word change, and therefore, as a result, nothing really gets started and the whole experience of change deteriorates with it. Evolution is gradual. It overcomes this with energy, progress, process, innovation, and hope. Revolution defined. The pandemic taught businesses all over the world how to come together and start a revolution when you are left with no other choice. Governments made it that no one was allowed to work in the office, and overnight everybody found a way to work from home. We all seem to have forgotten how we did it, how we cared, how we found a way to collectively do the impossible. When your market changes, sometimes the only answer is a revolution. Can you think ahead and determine the likelihood of this happening to you or in your industry? Brand examples of revolution can be found in McDonald's, Patagonia, Suzuki, Starbucks, Swiss Watches, and Avon, just a selection of stories that teach us so many lessons, where revolution was either something they did intentionally or was forced upon them by a change in the market. They show us that the lessons we think we're learning for the first time have most likely been learned somewhere else also. We can find our answers through others. You can look to companies to see what they did. How did they respond? What did they look at? And what are your own challenges that you're looking at? And how did they address similar things? Pace the feelings, the reality of your people, and understand where their thoughts and their heads are at in any given situation. Think about the feelings you're also selling to your people. The experience that they're having, is it positive or negative? Is there a better version? The pace of an evolution should be determined by the slowest person in the process. We must think about the reality from the perspectives of our people. Learn to adapt, match, think, and find ways to bring our people with us. You may have forgotten what it's like to be scared or anxious. You might want to take time to remind yourself. Do things in different ways to remind yourself of that feeling. Then connect that reawakening with the work you're doing with your people. Have you ever heard of the boss who says to his direct report or her direct report, "You need to be more confident"? Has that ever been said to you or about you? Even though this is a summary point, let me share with you something fundamental in the world of confidence building. Confidence is the byproduct of something else. It comes after the equal sign. Beliefs plus skills plus repetition plus experiences equals results. The end result of this formula is confidence. When we assess the word confidence, most leaders are found guilty of making a mass generalization about the levels of confidence and then ignore two things: the work that takes place before the equal sign, and then the second thing, what if that person changes dramatically? Do we even notice it? Be a leader that creates beliefs in their people that enable them and your firm, teaches them skills and offers them the space to repeat it and learn, where they can adapt from the experiences, good or bad, and then work on transforming their own results. A takeaway from Revolution or Evolution is, embrace evolution as a gradual positive change rather than fearing disruption caused by change. Sometimes, beware though, a revolution is necessary, either to do something brand new that's never been done before or because your market has dramatically changed. Look at how big brands have done this time and time again and learn from them. Your evolution should match the pace of the slowest person in your team. Remember to check the emotional reality that's in play running alongside this and do all that you can to use skills to understand it better. And please remember, confidence is built through a combination of things. Beliefs plus skills plus repetition and experience equals results. Leadership 2.0 is about creating the environment where people can develop confidence through the actions and skills that they take in practice and the results that they're given the chance to learn from. Leadership 2.0, reality or illusion? Leadership needs a rewrite. There are too many beliefs from the 1970s that are no longer reality and are an illusion. Here are 7 leadership realities. There is no one example of the perfect leader. Number 2, leadership principles are still a matter of opinion. Number 3, there is no guaranteed success model for leadership either. Number 4, leadership is of no value without results. Number 5, results are always more important than leadership itself. Number 6, poor leaders like the label leader. Number 7, good leaders have no interest in any label. Illusions are always present. Take the test in the chapter and the full book about how much of your leadership is an illusion. Do you know your reality? Stop lying to yourself or others. I always admire the way children's cartoons and movies make points in such a simple scene that you often cannot make in years of complex conversation. There is a scene in Cars when Lightning McQueen is having a crisis of confidence. He goes looking for his mentor's friend, and when he eventually finds them, he explains his situation, and they, Doc's friends, Doc Hudson, share with what Doc would say to the question. And they said to Lightning McQueen, "The truth is quicker, kid." We spend too much time kidding ourselves that there are other ways to do things, faster routes, shortcuts, hacks. Yet we're often avoiding the quickest route, which is the truth itself. The ABC, attitude, behavior, and consistency. One of the most important tasks as leaders of our people, ourselves, and our companies is to help our people form the right types of beliefs. The types of belief would lead us to the right attitude and creates the behavior we all want all along. Consistency is the key. Leadership 2.0 is built around what we model, that we stick to it, that we are what we say we are. We commit to being what we say we are, and we deliver against what we say we are, and the cycle continues. A takeaway from reality or illusion is leadership needs a modern rewrite. Many leadership beliefs from the 1970s are outdated and no longer reflect the true realities of leading today. There is no perfect leader or guaranteed success model. Results are often the thing that becomes more important than leadership itself. Focusing on attitude, behavior, and belief systems builds consistency. It helps you all understand what to model and what to commit or deliver on. It is essential to confront your leadership illusions. Be honest about what your strengths are. Be honest about what your weaknesses could be. And the quickest path to improvement is embracing the truth. Leadership 2.0 is a continuous cycle of learning and adapting, and by fostering the right beliefs and behaviors, leaders can inspire real transformation in themselves, their teams, and their organizations. Leadership 2.0. Concluding. Leadership 2.0, it's all a choice. Leadership is a daily practice. Like anything, it needs your focus, time, and attention. If we can all practice Leadership 2.0, we can take the power away from fear, false evidence appearing real. once and for all and put hope back in the driving seat, back in its place where everyone, all of us, have a chance to find inspiration, find a way to affect the many, move ourselves on, inspiring one person at a time. Here are some of the key takeaways from Leadership 2.0, Leadership or Leadershit. Authentic versus fake. Communicate your changes to those around you to inspire growth in yourself and your team. Remember to confront the reality of your actions even when it's hard to begin authentic leadership. Use the notice, experience, and acknowledge technique to reflect on your behavior and identify areas for improvement. Selfish versus selfless. Ask for feedback. Gain perspectives from 4 different angles. Remember, someone who agrees, someone who disagrees, someone who's undecided, and somebody indifferent. Remember to lead yourself first before leading others through self-care and personal responsibility. Self-care is like putting on your oxygen mask first. You cannot give what you don't have. Motivation versus mindset. Be mindful of digital distractions and their impact on your focus and your energy. Cultivate a positive environment to shape your mindset, as our brains, as you now know, wire themselves to match our surroundings. Establish a daily mindset routine to enhance your focus and maintain your own motivation. Connected versus cut off. No communication is still communication. Gaps will be filled by fear or by what people think it meant. Fill the gap. The owner of the communication is responsible for the result. Leaders must take full responsibility for ensuring clarity. Inspired versus expired. Every leader has an operating system, either moving the team forward, inspiration, or leaving it stagnant, expiration. Hope is the antidote to fear. Focus on inspiring hope rather than driving fear. Meaningful versus meaningless. Remember, meaningless has meaning in it. Add meaning to every experience to transform ordinary moments into extraordinary ones. Take time to discover the why factor of your team, understand why individuals do what they do, and use that to help them succeed. Revolution versus evolution. Confidence is built through beliefs, skills, repetition, and experiences. Leaders should create environments for people to grow and to test this out. Embrace evolution as a gradual positive change rather than fearing change disruption. Revolution may be necessary, and in extreme circumstances or things that you're going to do to be the first to do something, be ready for rapid change through revolution when it's needed. Reality versus illusion. Confront leadership illusions about yourself, about your team, and about your business. Be honest about what your strengths are and allow your weaknesses to grow. Leadership is a continuous cycle of learning. Fostering the right beliefs and behaviors inspires true transformation. Help us and join us in building Leadership 2.0 around the world. Join us in modeling the leadership required of our time, regardless of the consequences. Join us in standing up for human dignity, human rights, and human cause and human value, wherever you are in the world, to serve the heart of this great global community of believing that everyone has the chance to be better.